Hi, I'm John Isner, and you're Inside Tennis with the Koz.
Tennis fans, thanks for staying with us. Jimmy Connors has been one of the most impactful players growing our game of tennis. Great to have two of my former students, Jim Farber and Dr. Fred Chung, training in the Jimmy Connors experience. Well, here we are, Jimmy, right here at Boca Raton Resort and Club, and you're teaching, you're coaching. Your mother was your teacher, your mother was your coach. What are you telling these players throughout life that Gloria passed to you and now you're passing on to them?
Well, first of all, I mean, we've been friends a long time, and
Thank you, Jim.
but tennis is, for me has always been, a game given to me by women, and really a woman's game. Very easy, very, non-violent, because that's Fred's favorite word is violent. So and just to get your racket back and try to meet the ball and time it. Timing was a big part of it. And to come out here with Jim and Fred and to tell them something and see them try it and to do it and to trust it, and to know that if they do that, it worked for me and, for 25 years on the tour, and if they come out and try it and they improve and it makes them enjoy this game a little bit more, then geez, it's been a good day.
We talked about the women in your life, but there were a couple of all-star players, legends, a couple of Panchos in your life, Gonzalez, Segura.
Oh, yeah.
What did they add to your career?
Oh, well, first of all, Pancho Segura, I mean, my mom, when she turned me over to him when I was 15, he was the only one that she would give me to. They were great friends, and she thought that we kind of played the same way. We had he had a two-handed forehand, I had a two-handed backhand, and that he could take my game. She understood that she took me as far as she could, and that I needed a male influence. But he taught me more than just tennis, because he taught me life. I mean, and in a fun way, and how to handle situations, how to play tennis, and and understand the game and court sense. But even that is away from tennis also, which was even more fun. And Pancho Gonzalez, to meet him and his reputation and to go and watch him play. And then when I was very young, and he looked at me and said, we're going to play doubles in the U.S. Open. I
saw that match, and I remember his saying to you, "Hey boy, you're not in the juniors anymore. Come up here next to me."
That's right. Yeah, and for me to be playing doubles with him at 16, 17 years old, and understanding his thoughts and the way he went about his tennis and what he tried to do even then when he was in his 40s, to try to become a better player was it just I was like a sponge, though. I mean, I soaked up so much from Segura and Gonzalez and Riggs and guys that I was lucky enough to be around, and for me to come here and hopefully pass some of that on and have some fun stories to tell is it's a good day for me.
Jimmy Connors, you made everyone a fan of tennis. You were the boom. You got it going. What's this game always going to mean to you, Jimmy?
Well, it's my life. It was given to me when I was 2-3 years old, and I'm family taught, so it was always in my family. And even today, it's still my kids play a little bit, my wife plays a little bit, nothing serious, but just enough to to have some fun. But it's given me everything that I have. It's given me my family. It's given me my way of life, and it still allows me today to come and to be around and to meet people and find out just how much they really love the game, and and if they remember when I play, that's even better. But but to come out and still be around the tennis and hit some balls and get some exercise, I can't do it like I used to, and hopefully I'm not expected to, but still fun.
You won the U.S. Open on 3 surfaces: grass, clay, hard. Did it make any difference on what surface you were playing? And if so, what adjustments did you make? I don't think it made any difference in your mind, did it?
Well, no. I mean, you go where the tournament takes you, and winning the U.S. Open for me was the biggest. And once they went to playing on grass, I could understand that. Once they went to clay, I never really understood that move because most of the Americans were fast court players, but I was lucky enough to have 3 good years on it, and then of course when they went to the hard courts over at Flushing Meadows was my favorite. But changing the game, yes, I had to change my game a bit, but but every match I was playing against somebody with a different style. I mean, not everybody played the same back then, and to play Edberg one day and McEnroe the next, and Eddie Dibbs the next day, and then Panada, and then Borg, and then Vilas, and if you let it, your mind would be swirling.
One more question for Mr. Connors here. You have the luxury of playing nearly a quarter of a century out there, and you played the best in the game, legends that were older than you. Then all of a sudden you were playing your contemporaries, then you were playing younger players. Look back, pick 1 or 2 players who brought out the best of you in those 3 generations.
Well, before me, I mean, I had a chance, with Segura and Gonzalez, of course, and I played Pancho Gonzalez in a number of matches before.
Laver?
Then I played Laver in a challenge match, which was incredible, and Rosewall in the finals of the U.S. Open in Wimbledon. Playing my contemporaries with Borg and Mack and Vilas and Clerk and Dibbs and Gottfried and Solomon, and I could go down the list and just keep going. And I'm going to leave out a few, but I'm going to make somebody mad. But I can't help that. But and then to have had a game that allowed me to continue on and to play against Sampras and Agassi and Courier and Chang and Edberg and more in the next generation after me, Boris Becker and Mats Wilander and guys like that, to have been able to play them and to see where the game was going and what they were doing and what it was going to take for them to hopefully, I mean, after a while it's time for guys to push you aside when you get older, and it's time for the young to come in and take over, and if they don't, I mean, if they weren't going to push me aside, I'd have been happy to play until I was 45, but it came time for me to say, you guys are just too good, and so it was fun to see just what they were bringing to the table and how they were going to take the game to another level, and the generation that I came up with, Nastasi and Gerolaitis and all the guys that had their own personality and what they brought to the game was so special, would I like to play now? Of course I would. Of course I'd be a fool not to say that I would like to be 25 years old right now and playing, but I had an opportunity to play with such a crew. Such a good crew of guys that all had their own way of bringing something to the game, and fun time.
Want to know a little more about this guy? Well, let me share something. First time I interviewed you was at the Naveen Masters. It was your tour. It was the Jimmy Connors tour, and we did the interview. Thank you very much for it. My cameraman had audio deficiencies. We weren't getting audio. I go up to this guy, and I was really humbled. I was daunted. I was intimidated. Jimmy, we didn't get good audio. What do you think? Connors looked at me first. What do you think he said? You want to do it again?
Oh, no.
You did. You don't remember that.
I must have been a little older then.
I was impressed.
Well, it was, when I had the senior tour, I'd been through it all. I started in the early 70s and had a good run at the top of the game and good and bad. I mean, there was a lot of controversy on, my attitude towards the game, and but somebody had to be the villain. Not everybody's a good guy, and to have been able to bring in some outside tennis enthusiasts and specialists, was something that was very important to me, and I just feel that my attitude and the way I went about the game and the way I approached every match, was my own. I wasn't trying to copy anybody else, but I did pick and choose. From Gonzalez, I picked. From Segura, I picked. From Laver, I picked. And I didn't want to be them. But there was some things that I liked and admired from everybody, and I tried to incorporate that into what I became.
You want to get to know a legendary player? Come down here and join Jimmy Connors for the Connors Experience.
Do it.
Right here. Give him a call at Boca Raton Resort and Club. Jimmy Connors, What a treat to be with you today.
Always with you, always. It's been a pleasure for years and still going on. That's the good thing.
Beautiful.
In person, he's much, he is who we want him to be, but he's so nice and he's an asset, and it's so wonderful that we had the opportunity to meet him. And he's a marvelous teacher, and the fact that I'm left-handed helps me a little bit. But just the experience, just the access and so on. And he's just a down-to-earth guy, and enjoyed watching him play tennis. I know my dad did. I mean, he appealed to a lot of generations.
But he is so passionate of the game. He just want to pass his game to somebody, whoever wants it, and we just so benefit so much from him to enjoy the game, how to love the game, and how to effortlessly play the game, and so we can last a little longer. That's the greatest experience I have from a legend to spend the time with us, and that is just great.
Eric Silver, you run one of the most comprehensive tennis programs in the country at a Tier 1 level. And let's start at the very top of the tier. You've got Jimmy Connors in residence here with the Connors Experience. How proud are you and the facility to have Jimmy aboard?
Obviously, it's a great feather in our cap to have Jimmy. Jimmy and I have been friends for a long time, and we got him on board here. So between the corporate events, the private lessons, and the fantasy camp, we have one coming up this week. It's been fun for everybody, not just at the tennis center, but throughout the hotel. Jimmy is very warming, very funny, autographs, pictures to anybody. So for this, historic hotel, we have a legendary tennis pro, and it's been great for everybody.
It's just it's fun. We enjoy being with the members, engaging with the members, and really just showing them how fun tennis is. It's not about the winning and the losing.
Come down and see us here at Boca. You'll love it.
Yeah.
I'm Mike.
I'm Bob.
You're Inside Tennis with the Koz.